Mr. Jackson's main area? Are there any secret rooms? Police right now searching Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch.
This is part of an ongoing investigation.
He's the most famous man in the world, being accused of the most heinous crime in the world.
An arrest warrant for Mr. Jackson has been issued. Michael Jackson's trial has finally begun.
I walked into what looked like a circus.
We believed he was a criminal, and he was able to get away with it because of his fame and celebrity.
Michael said, how do innocent people leave the courthouse? They let the whole world see them.
This was a man who was unique in his talent, skill, and accomplishment, and unique in his victimization of children.
When the supposed victim was on the stand, the thing that struck
Young boys to Neverland.
The kids knew the combination to the bedroom suite. Their mother didn't.
The defense said Michael Jackson loves children. It's all been misconstrued.
It was our opinion that they began to come up with these allegations to get a payday.
Testimony keeps on coming.
Culkin called the allegations absolutely ridiculous.
I was juror number 8. What has to be proven is beyond a reasonable doubt. Can you doubt that happened?
Michael was scared to death.
I knew we were watching the potential demise of a superstar.
I found the smoking gun. I believed Michael was innocent, and we were going to prove it.
Is he guilty or is he not guilty? Finally, we're going to get some answers. Please keep an open mind and let me have my day in court.
Check real quick. Before I say that. I thought that there was another box in here. Yeah, there's another box in there. We're good. I need the remote. Make sure I mute the TV. There we go. Okay, what else do I have to do? I think I'm good to go. Well, actually, I can just do it on here and still look here, but they should be able to see this as well. Okay, so that's fine. Okay. So let me... Goes bad right down. Let me see if... I can get this on. Testing 1, 2. Hey Lou, what's up, guys?
All right, Bradley.
How's the light? Is it too dark, too light?
It's a little dark and you're a little quiet.
Yeah, and I can't get on the. I can't see it. I can't see me.
How about now? Is that better with the light?
Yeah, that's
All right.
it's good.
How's the volume? Is it still too low?
It could go up a little bit, and I can also turn it up on my end.
How about now?
That's pretty good. Yeah, I
right
think
there.
that's perfect
Okay,
right
cool.
there.
Then I will go ahead and. Can you guys see the screen? Can you guys see the?
Yeah.
I'm not coming in on camera.
Yeah, you are. We can see you.
We can see it.
I can't see you guys.
Because I can take the screen away, but then I'm not going to be. You're not going to be able to see the questions.
Hold on. I'll go out and come back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let him do that before I hit the start button.
Sounds good.
So I'm not usually I'm sitting on the couch and I have this like back in the day I had this table in my room when I was back in the apartment. I'm actually sitting like I don't know 2 feet from the TV, but I have everything set up. I have the microphone set up. You can't see it, but it's right there.
Right.
So you can't see it because I don't have enough. The light the stain on the light is too far up. I can't.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So you can't.
Right.
So unfortunately, you can't see the microphone, but I am using a microphone. So
yeah.
For the people out there that all right. So let me go ahead and we'll get this pot started.
Yeah.
What is up, guys? It is the Sportster Bradley Walker, and welcome to the Walker Report, part of NGSC Sports. Guys, remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. The Sportster is trying a new setup this evening. He has a new light and a new microphone, thanks to his good friends Sophie and Terry. Yeah, he's trying it out this evening. As you can see, I'm more sitting up more. I'm not slouching down like I was on the couch. I'm literally about 2 feet from the TV as I'm watching Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Knights and the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
They are reviewing the year that Raymond Bourque won his first Stanley Cup with the Avalanche. That's So there's that. Guys, we're gonna do a special show tonight. Alec is not here, but I have questions for these guys. So I'm going to run through these questions. There's 4 guys in the 5 categories, and I have a bonus question with each topic. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Here, guys, and I'll click. I think I can click. I don't have to go to this one. Okay. So here's what the categories will be in this order. They're in this order. So it'll be that way. So if you guys are ready to get started, we can go ahead and do that.
Yes, let's start.
Let me go ahead and pull up slide 1 for the first question, and that is, which team did Kobe Bryant play his entire 20-year career with?
That's easy. That'd be the Lakers.
The Lakers?
The Lakers, that is correct. Who was he drafted by? That's not a bonus question, but who was he originally drafted by out of high school?
At the time, they would have been the Charlotte Hornets.
That is correct. And that's why I put the Hornets in there to see if somebody would go off the rink and say that. Okay. So now the bonus question I have is, there it is at the bottom. Who is the only player to win an NBA championship, an NCAA championship, and an Olympic gold medal, all while serving as the finals MVP for their NBA title?
Wouldn't that be Jordan?
That would be incorrect. It is not Michael
No.
Jordan. It's a good guess, but it's not Michael Jordan.
Shaquille O'Neal?
It is not Shaq either. You guys are on the. You guys are. It would
Would
be
it
the era.
have
It would be the era
Bird
before Jordan and Shaq.
Larry Bird?
Kind of the start of the Jordan era. It was way before Shaq, or yeah, somewhat before Shaq.
Larry Bird?
Larry Bird is a good guess, but that's not the answer. That's actually
God.
okay. So the guy that I'm thinking of, it was a rival of Larry Bird.
Would it be Magic?
Magic
It
Johnson.
would be Magic Johnson. That's
Okay.
the correct answer. Is Magic Johnson. He's
Would
the
that have
only one
been-
to have won all four of those.
Wow.
1988.
1988. That is correct. That is correct.
Right.
This one again, just the second one should be another easy question. Who was involved at the Malice at the Palace? Which two teams were involved in that game?
And Indiana.
Yeah.
So that would be D. Yeah, D is the correct answer there.
Yeah.
I saw a clip not too long ago about this this game and how it possibly may have ruined a NBA championship for Reggie Miller. Because if you think about it, then wasn't Reggie Miller hurt during that game, or he was hurt before the game, something like that, if I remember correctly.
I think he was.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think this is one of those things because that was Jermaine O'Neal. That was like the end of Reggie's era, and the new Pacers with obviously Meta World Peace or Ron Artest or whatever you want to call him. He was there as well. So yeah, so that was a lot of people say that could have possibly that game may have cost Reggie Miller an NBA championship.
Good.
May have.
Man.
All right.
Perhaps.
So the final question I have two questions on this slide. It's which NBA team holds the record for the most regular season wins in a single season, going 73-9?
No, it would be the 96 Bulls.
Golden State Warriors.
That's the Golden State Warriors.
Wow.
That is correct. That is correct. And here's one of those kind of tough questions. Who is the only player to win an NBA Finals MVP award while being on the losing team? Is it Kobe, Michael Jordan, Jerry West, or LeBron
Jerry
James?
West.
It's Jerry West. It's Jerry West. He's the only player in NBA history to ever won the MVP on a losing team. Actually, if you think about the NHL, remember John Jabassin Jaguar when the Ducks lost there to the Devils?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
won the Conn Smythe and it was on the losing team. So
well, like I've always said though, guys, it's not what team, it's who is the most individual performance that gets it throughout the entire playoffs. Everybody thinks it goes to the winning team who won the Stanley Cup.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be.
No, but some people think that.
I really don't like it going to the losing team. It's such a hollow. When McDavid won it, like 2 years ago now, last year, 2 years ago now, and he just kind of came out and shook everybody's hand and went back to the locker room. I'm like, it's so demoralizing to a player to, be that close, and everybody thinks you're the best, but it doesn't matter. You didn't win. You didn't get you didn't win the whole enchilada. I'm like, no moral victories in sports.
That's correct. I mean, there'd be a lot of championships if there were moral victories in sports on a lot of teams that won a championship.
Moral victories.
Yeah. So there. Yeah. All right. So that's the NBA. That's what I had for the NBA, guys. Those 5. So let me go ahead now. The next category will be the NFL, and I'll bring that slide up right here.
Okay.
And then this is which are the 4 teams that have never played in the Super Bowl? Can you name those 4 teams?
Detroit Lions.
That's one.
I know there's a few more.
Mm-hmm. There's 4. You got one.
There's one of them, yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I have the choices on the screen. I have A is the Browns, Lions, Texans, Jaguars. B,
Browns, Browns. It's 2.
Well, the other two, so the Lions and the Browns have been around for a long time. The other 2 teams are fairly new franchises. Kind of give you a hint on which ones, which of the other 2 are
the
not.
Texans and the Jaguars.
Correct. Those are the other 2 that haven't been in. Because if you look at I don't know why the football is so big. I tried to shrink that down. But all the other choices I have on there they've all been. Bucks have won 2 Super Bowls. The Packers, I think, won multiple NFC, NFL championships prior to the Super Bowl era. The Steelers have won 6 championships. Atlanta has been to the Super Bowl twice and hasn't won one yet. I think they've been there twice. I think they lost to the Elway Broncos and then the Patriots, I believe.
Well, don't forget, one should have been one, but that defected a little bit of cheating, so that's how come they lost.
And then the Chargers, I think the Chargers have won. Has the Chargers won a Super Bowl or no?
Nope. Never been. They went in 94 and got destroyed by San Francisco.
Yep, I do remember that. So they never made it during the Dan Fouts era of.
Nope.
Wow. Okay. Did not know that. Okay. Then the Broncos have won 2. I think both Elway. No, they won 3. Peyton Manning won one with them before he retired. The Patriots have the most. The Saints have won 1 or 2.
One.
With Drew Brees. The Dolphins have won. They're the only undefeated team ever. The Chiefs have won multiple Super Bowls prior to the Patrick Mahomes because I think they won Super Bowl 3 or not 3 before.
Just won that one.
Yeah, the Bengals have been a couple times and never won one. And Chicago has, I think, a couple of championships, or maybe they only have one Super Bowl championship.
They won in '85.
Yeah.
They hammered the Patriots that year. All right, so the second thing, right. The second one is, what is the NFL's all-time record for the most career rushing yards? Which guy has it? Is it Sanders, Smith, Brown, or Peyton?
I think it's Sanders.
It's Smith.
It's Smith.
Emmitt Smith.
Anybody want to take a big fat guess at how many yards he has? That's my bonus.
22,516.
You're over, bud.
Lower than that?
It's lower than that. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's about 18,000 and change.
That's correct, Lou. It's 18,355 total yards that Emmitt Smith had in his career. Now, Barry couldn't have been that far behind him, right?
Not at all.
Barry's here. I'm going to look that up real quick.
Barry is only at like 12.
Only at 12,000?
Well, he only played 10 years.
That's true.
Let's see. Yeah, you might be right. Hang on a minute.
He might be about 14.
No, he's got 15,269 is what he has. He averaged 5 yards a carry at 3,062 carries in his career. And he was 1 touchdown short of 100 for his career. He has 99 total touchdowns. So, before he retired. Okay. All right, so now here's another running back question. Which former NFL running back holds the single-season record for the most combined touchdowns in a year? Is it Damian Tomlinson, Sanders, Smith, or Jim Brown?
It's LaDainian Tomlinson.
It's Damian Tomlinson. Yep, he's the one who holds the record for 31. And he just got shafted with as far as them getting to the Okay, so here's the one that's kind of a tough question. Can you name the 4 players in NFL history who have won a Heisman and a Super Bowl MVP? Can you name them? And I have a list on the screen here. Is it A, B, C, or D?
It's C.
That C is correct. Those are the 4 guys that
I'll be
have
right back.
and won a Super Bowl MVP. Yep.
I'll be right back.
No
Okay.
problem. All right. So I'll wait for him, Bud, to come back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Come back on. But how have you been, man? You been good?
Yeah, I'm pretty all right.
Good. Happy to hear that. I joined a bowling league one night a week. I didn't do too well last week.
Oh no.
But I'm brand new to it. I got my ball drilled last week. So yeah.
I still can't get on. Still can't see you guys.
That's interesting. That I don't know if it's because of, I mean, I have it open.
I'm not sure what screen you're on because I'm on the main screen. So I'm on the main screen with the questions on it.
That's why I can't see the questions.
I don't know.
Do you want me to like stop the share and then just ask you guys in a?
Yeah, that's fine.
Try that.
Do that.
Here, let's try that. See if that'll work a little bit better.
I'm here.
Okay, let's do it that way. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just leave the screen up and then I'll just ask you guys the questions. So now those are through that's the NFL questions. So the next category is the National Hockey League. Okay, so now the question is, which NHL goaltender has the most all-time regular season wins in league history?
That's an easy one.
Was it Patrick Waugh, Dryden, Plante, or Brodeur?
Marty Brodeur.
It is Marty Brodeur. Does anybody want to take a shot at how many wins he has for his career? That's the bonus question.
Oh.
613.
That's very close. 613 is very close. Very close.
615, I think it is.
How about 691?
691? I didn't realize it was that high.
Neither did I.
He was only 9 wins shy of 700 for his career.
Unreal.
I think that's pretty much an unbreakable record.
Who did he play for after he left the Devils? And he played for St. Louis for a while?
Yes.
The Blues?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're still feeling blue.
Okay. So the next question is, who is the only defenseman in NHL history to win the Art Ross Trophy as the league's leading point scorer? Was it Hedman, Chara, or Lindstrom?
Hedman, isn't it?
Lindstrom.
No, it's not Hedman.
Lindstrom?
It's not Lindstrom either.
Is it Orr?
It's Bobby Orr.
Bobby
Orr. Yes,
I wouldn't have thought Orr would not have been. That's why I didn't go with Orr, because I didn't think of them. I mean, the Art Ross Trophy is not an award that they give you earn that award, right?
Correct.
Because but I just wouldn't have thought a defenseman in the 70s would have earned the Art Ross. I would have.
Yeah. When I looked up was looking up questions, when that one popped up, I'm like, wow, a defenseman won the Art Ross Trophy. Okay.
That's a great question. That stumped me.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, like I said, some of these questions are pretty easy.
Yeah.
But I was looking them up and I'm like, all right, I got to get some kind of stumper to stump you guys a little bit.
For us, where this is kind of our gig, we do this, all the time. Like these questions, unless you're asking questions about equestrian from 1927, they're not going to be that, they're not going to be that difficult but for like the average. I know you're on TikTok and you see these people walking on the street and they ask them questions and they have no idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No idea.
And it's like, and we're sat here going, it's obvious, but.
All right. The next one I have is, which NHL player has won 3 consecutive Conn Smythe trophies as a playoff MVP while playing with the 1980 New York Islanders? Was it Billy Smith, Mike Bossy, Brian Trottier, or Dennis Potvin?
Oh, all good choices. I think it's Bossy.
I'm going to go with Trottier. They're not Trottier. I'm sorry. Give me C. I want C.
Brian Trottier? It's actually Billy Smith. He was the one who won 3 consecutive Conn Smythe trophies. What I did is when I looked up the answer to that question, I didn't want to put players that didn't play for the Islanders because it would have made it too obvious.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, let me look up like the all-time greats in the 1980s for the,
great question.
4-time Stanley Cup champion. Because at this point, they're the only team in NHL history to win 4 straight Stanley Cups. Which
disgusting.
I don't think that's ever going to be broken because of the salary cap and all that. That's now in sports. And the Lightning have tried to do it. They've won 2 in a row. The Panthers did it recently, 2 in a row. They're out. I think it all comes down to if you run out of, gas or something around the playoffs.
The closest we came, that would be Edmonton in the later 80s because they won, because they won 85, 80, 87, I believe 88 and 90. So they were as close as you can probably get to those Dread Islanders. Yeah. Don't forget, because the Oilers had Yari Curry, Wayne Gretzky, and other greats. So they were like, the nearest competitor to win that many because they won 4 as well.
And it was what? It was 80, 81, 82, 83, right? Were the 4 years that they won the Cup?
Unfortunately, yes.
Islanders? Yeah. Okay. All right. So here we go. The last question I have in the NHL category is, who was the first defenseman to win the NHL point scoring title?
Me.
Bork or Robinson or Coffey. These were all great NHL defensemen.
Oh, I gotta go Coffey.
I was thinking Coffey too.
Actually, it's Bobby Orr. It's Bobby Orr again.
Bobby Orr.
Bobby Orr again. Yeah. Bobby Orr again.
I should have known it was Orr.
Yeah.
Asked the question, Orr was the first name that came to mind. And then you gave me Coffey.
Well, so I put Coffey in there, Bud, because again, I was looking up like top defensemen. First of all, Ray Bork was a great defenseman, but I don't think he ever led in points. I don't think Raymond Bork was a point getter. He was more of a assist guy. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm totally
more
wrong.
Of a defensive defenseman,
right?
Defenseman.
And Larry Robinson, I don't know off the top of my head what type of defenseman he was. He was way before my time. And then Paul Coffey would have been in that era with Bobby Orr, right in that same era, so yeah. So I threw Paul Coffey in there just to kind of stump somebody because I'm like, I got to put.
Yeah, you got us both. You got us both. So.
All right, so this is the first question in MLB.
Okay.
Who hit the shot heard around the world in the 1951 National League pennant for the New York Giants?
Bobby Thompson.
Bobby Thompson, that is correct. And the bonus question is, who did he hit the home run? What team were they playing to beat? Who are the Giants playing?
Dodgers.
The Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers. That is correct. Brooklyn Dodgers.
The Giants won the pennant. The Giants won the pennant.
Yes.
So
they said that they said that he cheated because they were able to look at the pitches from the outfield that they got something like that. That's what they keep saying about
cheating
that.
Back then. Wow.
I have a fun little trivia question off of that.
Go ahead.
You know who was on the radio side for the Dodgers, the Brooklyn Dodgers that day?
The Brooklyn Dodgers. Would that have been
Vin Scully?
Vin Scully?
Nope.
Was not Vin Scully.
No.
Red Barber?
He's not thought of. He's thought of for a different team. He's the voice of a different team.
The voice of a different team. I'm trying to think of that era. Wasn't Vin Scully? Okay.
Nope, it wasn't Vin Scully.
He was starting at third then too.
It wasn't Red Barber, right?
Nope.
Okay, wasn't him either.
Joe Buck. No, I'm kidding.
Joe Buck. That would have been funny.
Or Derek, I used to call it Joe Schmuck.
Wow, that's funny. Wow, who would it have been? Okay, so this was this the Giants announcer or was this the Dodgers?
The Dodgers announcer. Yes, he was the Dodgers announcer. The Dodgers play-by-play on radio that afternoon.
Who was the Dodgers play-by-play? I have no idea, buddy. You got me.
Ernie Harwell.
Ernie Harwell, who was the guy for the Tigers.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Voice of the Detroit Tigers. Wow. Okay. I did not know he called games for the Dodgers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He was on the call that afternoon, and his call the famous call, the Giants win the pennant, the Giants win the pennant. And Ernie's call goes, son, I'm gonna paraphrase it. I'm not gonna be able to get it exactly right, but it's a long fly ball to left or right or wherever it was, and the Giants win the pennant. And he sends it to I think it was a Chew, and we're going. He sends it to commercial. I think it was a Chew commercial.
Well, I think a better call was when Charlie Steiner called the Yankees Red Sox game in Game 7, and I remember exactly as it happened.
What game was that?
Game 7, Yankees Red Sox.
What
year
was that?
2003.
2003. Oh, okay.
That was the Aaron Boone home run, right?
Yes. Charlie Steiner with the call, and oh boy, because we're turning up as I pull into my driveway, and we hear Charlie's voice. There's even phone on the left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees won the back. Oh man,
that was
my
off
friend and I were nuts.
Tim Wakefield, rest in peace. That was off Tim Wakefield.
Yeah.
He was one of the last true knuckleballers in MLB.
Or knuckleheads. Womp womp.
All right. So the next question, guys, I have is, what name is given to the famously below 200 batting average that is used as a benchmark for a struggling hitter? Is it the Mason-Dixon line, the Prime Meridian, Greenwich Meridian, or the Mendoza line?
That would be the Mendoza line.
The Mason-Dixon line.
The Mendoza line. Yeah. That one I had to look up. I'm trying to, okay, what kind of like famous lines can I make up to kind of confuse these guys? And I'm like, I know the Mason-Dixon line, but that's geography. All of the other ones are geographical. They're not anything to do with sports. So I try to throw that in there as a confusing thing. But yeah, that was that. All right. The third one in MLB is, what is the name of the classic long demolished ballpark that serves as the home for the beloved Brooklyn Dodgers before they moved to Los Angeles?
Ebbets Field.
Ebbets Field. That is correct. I put Tropicana Field in there, not that I was trying to confuse anybody, because Tropicana Field didn't even exist during the Brooklyn Dodgers era.
Neither did I.
But hey, I mean, you never know. You never know. The Polo Grounds were a home of who?
Yankees.
No, the Polo Grounds were home of the Giants.
Giants.
Yeah, I was gonna. That was my first thought, was the Polo Grounds. So
it was the Giants. It was the New York Giants. Okay. Which then again, if you guys remember, when the Dodgers made the move to Los Angeles, they needed someone to go with them. And who to take with you but one of your rivals? Because you're not going to take the Yankees out of New York. So you're not taking the Yankees away. So you got to take somebody else. So you take the Giants. And not the San Francisco Giants. So they still have that rivalry with LA and San Francisco. They're just not as close as they were. Okay. So this one's kind of tough.
Okay.
Which MLB player broke the most no-hitters in history with a home run? Bonds, Sosa, Kingman, or McGuire are the four options.
Kingman.
Mm-hmm. That's the correct answer.
I was going to say McGuire. Thanks.
Because he was a leadoff hitter.
Correct. Yeah. I when I was looking this one up, I said I got to get up a bunch of home run hitters, and Kingman is the odd man out. And I can guarantee you, if you ask this question on a trivia thing and people that don't know sports that well, they'd answer one of the other three because they're all home run hitters.
Right.
Think, oh, it's got to be these guys. It's got to be one of these three guys. Well,
it's
no.
Dave Kingman. He was a leadoff hitter. So he came up. He would be the first batter to come up. So in the first, he would be if he got a hit, then of course there's no hitter anymore.
Correct. That is correct. Yep. He broke up the no hitter. Okay. So the next category, guys, is NCAA football.
Okay.
Which two college football programs share the distinction of producing the most Heisman Trophy winners in history with 7 each? So each of these schools has 7 Heisman Trophy winners. Is it Ohio State, Notre Dame? Is it Michigan, Michigan State? Is it Florida, Florida State? Is it Iowa or Iowa State?
It's got to be Ohio State, Notre Dame.
That's I want to say
that's correct. Yeah. It is, yes. Each of those.
Notre Dame was one.
Has produced 7 Heisman Trophy winners, and I can't imagine. So then the next one to win one, either for the Irish or for the Buckeyes, will break the record because each of them hold 7, which is the most in program history. So that's
Right.
So those are the 2 schools. I looked up that question. I'm like, yeah, I want to throw that one in there, and I was trying to get 2 schools, but I got two with the other 3. I'm like, I got those schools in the same state. Like that, I mean, not that I'm saying they can't be, and they are pretty close. Ohio and Indiana, they're pretty close to each other. But yeah, okay. So the next one I have is which 2 college football programs have the distinct? I got the same question. Dang it! That one didn't copy over correctly.
Nah.
Oh, all right. So that one's going to be out because why did that slide not pop? Okay, well, I messed that one up. All right, that one's the same one. All right, so I only have 3 in the bonus question. Okay. The Red River Rivalry is an annual neutral site played at the Cotton Bowl. Which 2 universities play for this game? Should be
Texas and Oklahoma.
That would be the Longhorns and the Sooners.
Yeah.
And that game is very important to both of those schools. And I think Oklahoma won this past year, did they not? I think they were.
So.
Yes.
I think they were the better team this.
No
Okay.
question.
All right. So here is the last one, and this will also have the bonus question with it as well. Under head coach Chuck Amato, which quarterback took his Wolfpack team to 4 straight bowl games from 2001 to 2004? Was it Roman Gabriel, Russell Wilson, Phillip Rivers, or Ryan Finley?
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers.
Yes, it was Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
Which team did he play for out of when he got drafted, and which team did he play for recently?
He was drafted by the Chargers.
That's correct.
He played last year for Indianapolis.
That is correct. That was the bonus question was. Now, he was in the draft with Peyton Manning, where Manning didn't want to play for the Chargers.
Right.
They traded their pick, and Rivers was drafted for the Giants, and I guess they just swapped quarterbacks or whatever it was. But
yeah.
All right. Well, guys, that was fun.
Yeah.
So that is it. Yeah. So now we have an hour and a half to kind of talk about other things.
Sure.
Now we could talk about the NBA Finals. I haven't watched NBA basketball in a long time. I did last night. I watched some of the Spurs Knicks. I'm proud of. I'm pulling for the Knicks. I hope they win. This is their time, hopefully. And it looked like last night they were down with 13 in the third quarter.
14 points in the third quarter
and came back to win again.
Yes.
If Jalen Brunson doesn't win playoff MVP, I don't know who will. I don't know who will, Lou.
If he's not, we're all screwed.
He got hurt, came back, and he just looks like he doesn't miss a beat. Like the guy didn't look like he missed a beat, you know.
Wembanyama got a little bit injured too.
Yeah.
He did hobbles, and that was that's I think what turned the table for us. When after Wembanyama got injured, that's when it started to shift.
Well, that was the big question, Lou, coming into this series, right? Was it who's going to guard Wemby? But it looked like Cat did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Last night. And I watched the interview after the game, and Brunson said that they need to clean up some things. So that's dangerous to say that a team won and they have to go clean up things. That's dangerous to say, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, that's a dangerous team when you have, stuff to have to go and work on. So, yeah. And game 2 is what, tomorrow night? Is that tomorrow night? Okay. All right. Yeah. And the Knicks don't seem like they've been shooting pretty well, haven't they? They don't miss very often.
They haven't missed at all. They've been an offensive scoring machine.
Yeah.
They've won 12 playoff games in a row, and no one has ever done that.
And how many have they won in a row on the road? Haven't they won like 10 or 11 on the road in a row?
8.
Away from MSG? So they're alone. That means that they can win away from Madison Square Garden, which is not good for the teams they're playing against. But yeah.
Actually, if they can win tomorrow, I'm saying we could wrap up at home.
See, let me ask you guys that question. You would rather have your teams wrap it up at home in front of the home fans and wrap it up on the road, right?
Absolutely, I would.
That's me.
I don't care either way.
Okay.
I I would much rather win it than I would rather win it in 4 and just be done with it.
Yeah.
Than drag it out to 5, 6, 7, whatever it might be to get it done. Because every game after 4 it's just so nauseating.
You can say that again.
Very true. Very true.
And so, like, is it more fun to win it at home? Yeah.
Sure.
But I really don't care because I've seen them win it on the road. I've seen them win it at home, and winning it is just so much more fun. And I've seen neutral site wins too. So, like,
yeah,
winning at home is cool, but winning it all is so much better.
Well, I mean, in
right.
the case of college football, you're never going to win at home.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
so
they're
no,
really
not
because the bowl games.
Yeah, because the championship game's a neutral. The Super Bowl is a neutral site. The college football is a neutral site, and the college basketball is a neutral site. College baseball, all the colleges are neutral site games. So,
well, there have been 2 teams in NFL history that have won at home. Can you name those?
Technically, but still, that's gonna only happen once in a blue moon. I know in 2020 the Bucks won it at home, but
and the Rams did. The Rams did the following year.
Yes.
So yeah, the Rams and the Bucks have both won them at home. They're the only 2 teams that have ever hosted, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong.
Right, I think right because now it's not often that you get to play in your home stadium for a Super Bowl.
Correct, and again, and then of course with the Stanley Cup and NBA, you're going to play at home. You have home games at home, and I'm kind of happy that way that they don't play on neutral sites because that would be pretty crappy, shitty in a way to have teams go elsewhere and then have their fans have to go elsewhere when you like right now I'm watching Carolina. They're in Raleigh right now. So
the one thing about the NFL that makes sense is that the Super Bowl is in February. And when the Super Bowl was created in the late 60s, the idea was to put on a show to showcase the best 2 teams in football.
Correct.
And it goes back even further than that because the original NFL championship games were played at the home stadium at the team's best with the best records home field. But then the idea was in the late 60s, the mid 60s was to create a true championship game. And they weren't going to have a series. It wasn't going to be like a best 2 out of 3 or a best 3 out of 5 or a 7-game series or anything like that. It was going to be one game. You'd play all your games. You'd have a quick playoff, and then you're going to take the 2 best teams from each league, and they were going to face off each other in a big game. And so and if you had at the time with only 16 teams in the league, I think in '67. There might have been 12, but it was somewhere in the teens.
Yeah.
And with a lot of teams being up in the you had Pittsburgh, you had Green Bay who won the first 2, Kansas City and New York who played not New York, sorry. Who's Kansas City?
Jets.
And who was in Super Bowl 2?
It was Packers.
Packers and
is it Packers Vikings in Super Bowl 2?
No.
Hang on, man. Let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, but in Minnesota game, because it was Minnesota, it was Packers and Chiefs, Packers, and I forget who.
It was Packers Raiders it was played in the Orange Bowl in Miami in 1968.
And then in 3 was New York and Baltimore, and 4 was Minnesota and Kansas City. So if we just look at those first 5 games, if you did a neutral site, if you did a home game, you're looking at 3 or 4 out of the 5 potential, 3 to 5 of the first potential 6 sites being cold weather places, which are going to be miserable to travel to in February. Yeah, Green Bay, Kansas City, Minnesota, and Baltimore, with Oakland being the only nice venue, the only nice area to go to in those first 6 potential sites for a game. So it makes sense with especially at the time with most NFL stadiums being outdoor stadiums, it makes sense for it to be a neutral site game, with it being one game. No, with MLB, NHL, and MLB, NHL, and NBA, with it being multiple games over multiple days, having it at a neutral site would be so difficult for the fan bases of, and them not being a spectacle like the Super Bowl, or what the Super Bowl has become. It just wouldn't be logically sound or logistically sound to try and hold a neutral site for the NHL, MLB, or NBA finals.
I would agree. Like I said, I'm glad that the only ones that are, neutral. So it's kind of interesting that the only neutral site ones are football related. Both the national championship and the Super Bowl are played on, unless you're one of the teams that hosts. And again, it doesn't happen very often. I don't think it's ever happened for the national championship game. I don't think anyone's ever gone in. And I'm wondering, guys, too, with how much of a money cow the NCAA is, would they allow that? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say, for example, they're having the national championship game in Tallahassee, right? So in Florida, it's not cold in February. I mean, it can be, but it's not as cold. But actually, see, it snows in the Panhandle, so never mind. Can't be there. Can't be there because it snows in the Panhandle. Let's say it's in Miami. Let's say it's in Miami down south. It's always warm. And the Miami Hurricanes somehow are one of, like they were last year against Indiana. Let's say they get there. Do you think that the NCAA will go, hey, you know what? We're changing the venue?
No.
Okay.
Because
it's the same
thing. The thing is, it's like we talk about, I bring this up whenever we talk about TV. These games are already penciled in on the calendar for years in advance. And again, it comes down to logistics. And taking the game out of Tallahassee or Miami or Atlanta, if the Bulldogs were to, get back there, or Dallas, if out of Jerry World, if the Longhorns, it would be such a logistical nightmare because of all the contracts that have been signed and the money that has already changed hands and the promises that have been made. And we're talking contracts here. So getting out of those contracts are going to be incredibly difficult. And for one game, because one team might have and the thing is that each team is allotted about 40% of the tickets.
Right.
So, and then the other 20% go to the general public. So so Miami, both sides have an equal opportunity to get tickets. Obviously it's going to be easier for Florida teams. If it was Miami and Florida in the championship game, yeah, obviously it's going to be easier for Miami and Florida fans to get there, get tickets, as opposed to Washington and Rutgers. If by some miracle the Scarlet Knights made the championship game.
Yeah, right. Like that will happen.
So this year's the national championship is in Las Vegas, and unless some miracle reason that UNLV gets there, I don't think you're going to have a hosting a championship game. And they're playing at Allegiant Stadium, which the only team that I know that plays there is the Raiders. I don't think UNLV plays in a NFL.
I think UNLV has their own stadium.
So yeah. But again, I mean, that would be that kind of scenario where you'd have it where a home university is playing. But see here, I know they don't play the Super Bowl in cold weather cities, but what do you think? And I'm trying to think back if it's ever been that way in the NCAA. Has a game ever been played in like a Michigan or
no? Again, it's all about
money.
It's about the travel and the nice weather, and it's a vacation type atmosphere. And playing in Columbus, playing in Ann Arbor, playing in Indiana, Bloomington, playing in South Bend.
South Bend, yeah.
Playing up in Madison. Yeah, it might be a crazy atmosphere, to pack 112 into the big house for a championship game. But it's not going to be, there's so much, also you have to have the infrastructure in the city to be able to support it too.
That's correct.
That's one of the reasons why, that's why Detroit has gotten a Super Bowl and Indianapolis hasn't yet. You have to have them. That's why, and you have to have the right kind of stadium. You have to have the right kind of seating. The right amount of seating. So.
And Vegas just went up 1-0 in the first period.
You mean like this?
So
no, you see that you're right, and a lot of things. I think there are some cities out there that, like you said, Bud, that won't take that chance because they don't have the infrastructure to host an event like that. That's where I think a lot of times with the Super Bowl, a lot of the same cities get those games because they can hold. I know. See, the interesting question with Tampa right now is you have the Rays looking for a new stadium, right? Brand new baseball stadium. But the Buccaneers also want to do a $1 billion renovation to Raymond James Stadium. Now, what I didn't know at the time is that anything that is in that stadium, they get 50%. So any concert, so USF, which will be moving, this is the last year they're in Raymond James. They'll be moving into their new on-campus stadium. By the way, all 28 boxes in the new stadium have been sold out for the opening season. So I saw that pop up the other day. And again, the USF Bulls, they've gotten a lot of they've got a lot of primetime games. Unfortunately, I'm gonna miss the game against Memphis because I got tickets to Brad Williams, who is a comedian. I don't know if you guys know him. He's the short guy. And my girlfriend loves him. I wanted to go see him. And after I bought the tickets, I'm like, oh, shit. The same night that they're playing Memphis, and the game's at 8 o'clock at night. So, and I'm off the next day anyway because of Veterans Day. So I'm off the next day. So it would have made sense. Or, I mean, I'm off that day anyway, but it just, yeah. So anyway, that's one of the things. I'm going to, the USF Bulls have 7 home games this year. I'm going to miss 3. This year. I'm going to miss the opening game because I'll be up in Wisconsin and Michigan with my dad at a family reunion. I'll miss I always miss their homecoming game because I'm always on vacation in Orlando that week. And I'll miss the Memphis game this year too. So, so hopefully maybe the first year that the Bulls are in their new stadium, I get to go to all 6 games, maybe at least 5 out of the 6 when they move into their new stadium. 2027. But yeah, I also think too that if for some reason that the NCAA did schedule a game in a cold weather city, whether it be Ann Arbor or Columbus or Bloomington or South Bend or Madison or where does Minnesota play? Happy Valley or Penn State. Any of those cities where it's going to be, you may turn fans away because some of them don't want to go sit out in the dang snow. If it's snowing, they're not going to sit in 25 weather or below 0 weather.
Especially if it's not a if it's not a local, and it's not so much getting the local fans to come out, it's getting the big ticket guys. It's the guys that are going to pay money to sit in those luxury boxes.
Correct.
You might have, let's say you wanted to play let's say they wanted to put the championship game in Madison, right? Madison is gonna host the 2030
national
championship game. Obviously Wisconsin's not there. Wisconsin's been struggling recently, and they're looking at 3 years. Like, okay, Wisconsin's probably not going to be there in 3 years. Now, are you going to be able to get? Let's say it's Miami and Washington. Let's say it's Miami and USC. It's Miami and the Hurricanes versus the Trojans. In the 2030 national championship game in Madison, Wisconsin. Are you going to be able to get are you going to be able to fill that stadium? Are you going to be able to pack that out? 65, 70,000 people, and then because the thing is what makes Miami and Southern California popular destinations to hold big events like the Super Bowl and and championship games, not just in football, but in basketball and baseball and hockey too. Maybe not so much hockey, but basketball for sure. Yeah. That there's things to do outside of just going to the game. So it helps to create an atmosphere, a party atmosphere. New Orleans is a prime example. Yeah, the national championship game or a semifinals game, in New Orleans, Atlanta, Miami, Southern California, Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, those or the Jerry World in Dallas. There are things to do and there are places to go. What kind of atmosphere? What the game is. Let's say the national champ. Obviously the national championship game is on Monday night, right? So for a week and a half ish. After you've got people trying to get into into Madison. Does Madison have the amenities to entice people from, and again using two warm weather places, from people who are used to the warm weather traveling to a place like Madison, Wisconsin, people that are used to events like the national championship game being these big blowout week-long parties?
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to get those luxury? Does the University of Wisconsin at Madison have the facilities there to be able to even host that game? So those are the things that, to your earlier question about moving the game out of Miami if the Hurricanes were playing. No, because they've already scheduled, because they picked that venue for a reason, because of things outside of playing the game that are there for the people that might want to come to the game to do before, during, and after the game.
No, but you actually, I didn't even really think of that. You made a great point with the amenity thing after, before the game or after the game. And can somebody please just tell the NCAA to stop putting the national championship game on a Monday night, put it on a Saturday night? You guys can't play on a Saturday. Yeah. Majority of college football is played on Saturdays.
Exactly.
Put it on Saturday night so that the next morning, us sports guys don't have to get up to go to work. Have it on a Saturday night.
Have to take a day off of work.
Yeah, have it on a Saturday night.
Exactly.
Do 8 o'clock kickoff, then do 8 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday night.
I really think that they need to condense down the playoff schedule too.
So we talked a couple weeks about that, about how they were going to advance to 24.
Yeah, I know.
The website, the website that I write for, they brought it up about how bad that's going to be for college football.
If they actually expand to 24.
The 24 teams, yeah. Yeah.
And the NCAA tournament basketball is going to expand to 76.
Yeah, they've already agreed to that. So that's already.
I know.
Yeah, that's a done deal. They're going to 76.
We're going to have 76 teams in college basketball. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I know I say this every time we talk about expansion, is I really thought that 8 teams was the magic number. Yeah. I thought 8 teams were the magic number, and that you should be the top. You should go 1 through 8, seed them 1 through 8. If you're 9, you're shit out of luck. I don't care what your resume is. If you're not the 8th best, if you're not ranked 8 or higher, I don't give a shit about your strength of schedule or your quality losses or the fact that your dog's sister's uncle's boyfriend's second cousins, the quarterback's best friend's childhood sweetheart.
Your neighbor's
he
daughter
really just deserves a shot at a national title. I don't give a shit. You didn't win the games you were supposed to win. if you were really one of the 8 best teams, you wouldn't be ranked tonight.
Right.
Yeah. Correct.
I don't
No,
care
I
if you're me. I don't care if your nephew's cousin's second uncle or grandfather-in-law or whatever the case may be. It just doesn't work. They got me doing it. Oh boy.
no, I
And
agree.
I think
But you get the idea.
I need to pull up the calendar real quick. So, because I didn't even think about bringing down my spare phone to use it as a
Along with
device.
watching the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, I'm also watching the University of Tampa. They are currently in the Division II championship game, and they lead 7-4 in the bottom of the 10th inning. If they win, this will be their 3rd straight national championship in a row. And I went to cover them this year. They have a very, very nice stadium in downtown Tampa. It's a private university, but they're Division II. They're not Division I. They're Division II.
Right. Yep.
So a lot of these teams that I, saw on their schedule, you look up on their website. It's like, wow, some of these schools are they have they're odd names. Like they're playing against Westchester. That's the team they're playing against right now in the championship game. But they're up. It was 4-4 after 9. They scored 3 runs in the top of the 10th, and there's a runner on first base with nobody out. And it's the Tampa Bay Spartans. They're pitching right now. They're wearing all black caps. Westchester's wearing purple tops, white bottoms with the purple. That's their home colors. It's being played in North Carolina. If I'm not mistaken.
Cool.
They're playing in Cary. Cary, North Carolina. That's where the Division II national championship is for college baseball. Because I think have they playing? Have they gone to?
That started. D1 started. I'm not sure where they are now.
Because they go to what? They go to Omaha, right? Is that where they go for?
Yeah, that's where the College World Series is.
And there's a double. Oh no, it was a double play, but he got off first base.
So
go, buddy.
I got the calendar here. So championship weekend is it'd be Saturday the 5th, fine. And then you have the Army Navy game on the 12th. Then you have all your games on the 19th. Then you have your semifinal games on the 26th, and your national championship game on the 2nd.
Yeah. It'd be a logical thing to do because you're dragging all the way down to mid-January now.
Yeah. And if in my ideal world, you would have, and if you wanted to, you could even do away with championship weekend and not have championship weekend. If you wanted to, if we were gonna just no more championship games, fine, whatever. And you'd have 1 play 8, 2 play 7, 3 play 5, 3 play 6, and 4 play 5.
Correct.
And that's 4 games, right?
Correct. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
Well, it's back to the old NHL days. 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. Yeah.
Oh, I get better that way.
I miss those days, by the way.
Yeah, me too. And that would leave you 4 winners. And and then you'd have your 4 winners play on the 26th. And then you'd have and then you'd have your finals and you could have it, and then you'd have your championship game on the 2nd instead of the 11th or the 18th or the 25th, whatever the hell it's going to be going forward if this 2014 playoff gets approved. And I just don't think that. I don't think we need. I don't think 24. Even as a Michigan fan going into at the end of last year, we didn't need a playoff game. We were terrible. We were god awful, and we deserved to get our asses handed to us. And pissed me off.
It sure were.
Well, and then again, too, you do 24, so you'll have 6 teams with a bye? I think that's how it's broken down.
I think so.
Yeah.
So the top 6 will get a bye. So now they're going to sit, and then the only problem with that is you sit, now you get rust because the other teams that are winning are going to be playing. So now it's going to take, I don't know, a half of football, a quarter of football to get back to game speed
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes.
And then I mean, obviously, yes, we all know that the top 6 are the best. Well, at that time would be the best, and I think they're good. I know a lot of people love championship weekend, where you have the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12, the MAC, whatever conference. You have your championship games. I think with the 24 game schedule, that's going to take away. And that's one of the reasons why Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, doesn't want to go to a 24 game schedule, because he likes how much TV and money they make off the SEC championship game in Atlanta every year.
Right.
And the Big Ten championships in Indianapolis every year. I think that's where the location is.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of where the ACC championship is held every year.
Is it Miami?
I don't know, buddy. That's
or is it North Carolina? Is it in Raleigh? Or
well, if
Charlotte?
it's in Raleigh, then obviously you'd have NC State if they ever got there. That would be their home state. But
well, let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, I know the Big Ten's in Indianapolis, the SEC's in Atlanta. I guess
it's Charlotte. It's
Charlotte.
American Stadium in Charlotte.
Okay.
I guess my dog is barking at something.
Hello, dog.
It doesn't like the idea of the ACC championship game being in Charlotte, apparently.
Charlotte, North Carolina, yeah.
But maybe he knew that.
No, he's not a fan of
That's the ball game. With Tampa Bay winning 7-4. I don't know if they've won the national championship or they got to play one more game. I don't know if it's the best of 3 or if they won. I don't know. Because they won 7-4. Let's see if they're shaking hands. I'm guessing they may have just won the national championship for the 3rd straight year.
Wow.
Or they at least advanced to the next.
Well, no, this was the final. They had they advanced yesterday or on Monday or Tuesday they advanced on. So
yeah.
Like I said, they're
I don't know any.
It's really kind of cool. I don't know how many Division II kids get to play in MLB. I don't know what the number is. Okay. So So yes, they won game 1. Game 2 is tomorrow at 6:00.
Okay.
If they win tomorrow, they won the national championship. And game 3, if necessary, would be 3:00 on Saturday. So UT won game 1. It's 2 out of 3. So it's the best of 3 for the. So
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
So so if Tampa wins tomorrow night, then they'll win a 3rd straight national championship in Division II baseball.
Neat. But I just think that at a certain, there's diminishing returns. There's a point of diminishing return, and if you insist on stacking more teams in the playoffs, the regular season loses meaning.
Oh, I agree. Because I know too, but I know we get a lot of slack, in Florida about, especially the Florida Gators. They'll book a couple what they call cupcake games, where they'll book, teams.
Well, we used to call them cream puff,
Yeah, that you guys know what I'm talking about. The ones that they pay the kids to come down here. We'll pay you $1 million to come down here so we can beat you. So
Alabama plays Mercer the week before the Iron Bowl.
Right. Like that, yeah. And I think like Florida starts up against Northwestern State, university or something like that, so some little small school that no one's ever heard of. And if they pull an upset, then everybody knows who they are.
For one weekend, For one weekend, everybody knows your name, and then we forget who you are.
Correct. Unless you win your conference championship, and then but then again, the smaller conferences aren't going to get in there anyway. Well, I don't know, because according to the 24 game playoff, they want to put more
if they go to a
at large bid teams in there.
Yeah, and if they go to a 24 team playoff, who's getting this is the problem with expanding from 4 to 12, and it was always going to be 13, 14, 15 throwing a bitch fit.
Yep,
that's not fair. Correct. It's not right. We should be in there. And if they go from 12 to 24, 25, 26, 27 are going to throw a bitch fit, because why in the blue hell is Memphis at 24 getting in over an LSU team that's 9-3 and 25th?
Correct. Yep.
You know, a 2-11 Memphis or 2-11-1 Memphis is not better than a 9-3 LSU.
Yep.
Not at all.
No, that's that again too. You're exactly right. You're always going to have some school, and it's going to be one of the big ones that's going to bitch and complain of, okay, why does a 9-3 USF who's number 24 get in over a 10-2 Florida team or a 10-2 Georgia team?
Conspiracy.
And I don't see that happening. So a 9-3 Kentucky. Why is 9-3 Kentucky 25 in the country getting left out when a 10-2 Florida USF or Memphis are getting put in? It's not right. This is terrible.
The ranking system is stupid.
Kentucky has played. Kentucky's 8-4, and their 4 losses are against Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Texas. There's no way they should be put in. They should be left out when a 10-2 USF is getting in. This is ridiculous.
It is,
and we hear that every year. Whether it was last year with who was it that got, and then those teams that don't deserve to be there always get rolled up.
Well, if you look last year too, you had James Madison get there.
Yeah,
James Madison. They play Alabama or Georgia like right away.
Oregon.
They
played Oregon and got killed.
Yeah, see, that's the whole thing is, we understand you want to put these at-large teams in, but then you see what happens when they play against the big boys.
They get murderated, and it's not fun.
No, and then again, too, you put those kids from those at-large schools like James Madison or Tulane, for example.
Yeah.
Another one. You put them in a game against a team that they know they have no shot in hell of beating. None whatsoever. Not a shot in hell. Could there be an upset? Of course there can be. Of course, we all know in college football at any point anybody can beat anybody on any given Saturday. But when you get to the playoffs, just like in any sport, whether it's NFL, NHL, MLB, NBA, whatever, it's a whole different story. Everybody moves up a level. Everybody is better. Everybody's prepared more because it means more. Oh, I lose a game. Okay, if I lose a game early in the season in college football, it's okay. I can recover. If you lose a game late, not so much. But anyway, if you lose a game early on in the season, you can recover from that. You lose a playoff game, you're out. It's a one and done. You're done. Yeah. So for these at-large teams that, like the USFs, the James Madisons, the Tulanes, the Memphises, whatever you want to call them, Boise State, you can even throw Boise State in that. Yeah. Teams like that, you have to you got to get your game up. Like you're going to get James Madison got annihilated by Oregon. So
and everybody knew that they had no hope or a prayer. As long as Oregon spells their names right on their entry forms, they're gonna get murderated.
Yeah.
And as a college football fan, I don't care. You can love them or hate them. James Madison, Tulane, nothing against those programs. I know, I understand who they are, what they are. They're fine. I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to play. I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to compete. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be there. Okay, I am saying they shouldn't be there. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they shouldn't be there because it's not that they don't deserve to be there. It's that they just don't have any business being there because they're going to get killed. And I don't want to watch Oregon empty the gun into them in the first quarter and go up 24-3 and then sub in everybody else and stink up the joint for 45 minutes and run clock. It's not good football. I'm a football fan. I want to watch good football. I would much rather have a game that, again, Oregon versus, I would much rather see Oregon play a 9-3 LSU team that may have struggled, at times in the season, but can give Oregon a game, as opposed to a James Madison that hasn't played anybody but made it. I mean, I'm like, if you could show me that James Madison can legitimately go into Eugene and beat Oregon, and we're not talking about 3 or 4 bus crashes to be able to have a shot. Oh, we're not talking about Oregon getting food poisoning the night before, and half the team is in the hospital getting their stomachs pumped because they just feel miserable, and Oregon's down to their third strings backup quarterback, and now James Madison has a shot. If James Madison was a legitimate threat to go into Eugene and beat Oregon, then yeah, okay, we can have a conversation. If you wanted to put Oregon, if you wanted to put Tulane against, you want to put James Madison against Tulane and give them a game, and then take Oregon in the team that played Tulane. I forget which team it was, but and give them a game, then yeah, we could have that conversation. That would be an interesting conversation to have.
Yes.
Where Oregon is playing a better, stiffer team, stiffer competition, and then if James Madison and Tulane duke it out, and then the winner of that game moves on to the next round, and yeah, okay, obviously that's going to give whoever would be remaining of Oregon and the other team, which I forget now, but yeah, obviously they're going to get a bit of a softer opponent. That could be a conversation we could have. But if we go to this 2014 playoff and now we have 5 or 6 or 7 Tulane's and James Madison type schools just hanging around waiting to get their ticket punched.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about Tulane and James Madison are not 2022, 21, whatever year it was, 22. Yeah, 22 TCU who can jump up there and bite you on the ass if you're not paying attention. A legitimate team that can play against any team in the country. These are teams that don't play anybody during the regular season. They might play one quality opponent in the non-com, and that's about it. And they're if they played legitimate competition throughout the rest of the year, they wouldn't be there because they're just not that talented.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that the talent will out. Hardworking talent outworks hard work.
Right. No, I like I said, I agree. I think if unfortunately, you are going to have more teams like that. And again, they're going to have to, and then again, sometimes too, they don't, even if they get there and they get their ticket punched, they just don't have the talent to hang with the big schools. They don't have the, the players. You're playing 3-star against 5-star, 2-star against 5-star kids. That's why you're a 2-star. That's why you're a 3-star, because you play against the 4 and 5 guys that are automatically going to a big school, going to Ohio State, going to Michigan, going to Georgia, going to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, the ones that don't are the ones that are left out. Now, if you can somehow in a way get a decent head coach to stay with you in one of these small programs long enough to get recruits to come to you, that's fine. Now, I know, USF has Brian Hartline. And, at the spring game, as most spring games are, it's very vanilla. They're not going to show anything because, A, they don't want to have anything on film for teams to pick up on when we're less than 100 days away from the college football season starting. But what I'm saying is you go into that factor is also too, you may not have the kids yet either. You may have transfers that haven't come yet. You're hoping to get them in the spring game, but then again during during that you have people that hold out or say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna transfer there because of the coach. So I think this year with USF in particular, and I didn't mean to get off the topic, but for USF, I think it's going to be you'll get more 3 or 4 star position guys coming here because of the coach. Now, unfortunately, here's what my thought is: if USF goes 9-3 again, or we go 10-2, Heartline's gone next year.
Probably.
Gone. Because one of the big schools will have a job opening, and just like with Golish, oh hey, the Michigan State job is open. Well, we can pay you 3 times what USF is paying you, and we have better facilities for your players. And then he goes back to the Big Ten. So Hardline would then return back to the Big Ten, that way too. So that's the only fear, until USF gets into a Power 4 conference. That's the way it's going to be from here on out. We're gonna have good coaches, and then they're gonna go away because we don't have enough money to keep them here. I know the good news is our AD is trying to get us into a big conference, but you have to have continuous winning seasons. Now the USF we've had 3 winning seasons in a row. Now the 2 of them were 6-6 seasons, but they are winning seasons. We didn't go under 500, and then last year we went 9-3 and lost in the bowl game. We got our asses kicked in the bowl game by Old Dominion in Orlando, and that's because half the kids had left because the former head coach had left, and they transferred with their coach, which a lot of kids will do when that coach transfers. They usually go with them because they're more comfortable. They don't fit in with the new coach. Speaking of that, I saw the other day that Byron Brown, who is now at Auburn with Alex Golish, is not doing so well with his accuracy at Auburn, and he's supposed to be the next coming there in Auburn. So I'm curious to see how he will do in the SEC when the kids are bigger, faster than they are in the American. So I'm curious to see how he adjusts to one of the Power 4 conferences and having to play Alabama, having to play Georgia, having to play Florida, or any of those schools. I don't know what Auburn's schedule is, but you're going to be playing the Texases and the Texas A&Ms. So, again, we'll have to wait and see how he does. I'm curious. I know Alec, when we did a show not so long ago, he had him as a possible Heisman Trophy finalist, and I'm like, dude, pump the brakes a little bit. First of all, it's way too early to be thinking about that. But number 2, he's in a brand new conference, and a conference that is a much stronger and faster than the American. So let's
the lights are
a little bit before we start.
The lights are definitely brighter in the SEC.
Yeah,
and like when it comes to USF or any of those lower ranked schools in the
non-power
smaller conferences, the lights aren't as bright. The competition isn't as fierce. The talent isn't as strong, and the intellect of the individual players and coaches isn't as high across the board. Not to say that there aren't smart kids and smart coaches, but the whole of an SEC roster is that much better than an ACC roster,
right?
From top to bottom. No, you could have, if you took Kentucky, who struggle in the SEC, and you put them in the ACC, they're going to dominate the ACC. They're just going to run roughshod over the ACC. We'll look at UCF. UCF. They moved over to the Big 12 because they wanted it to be in that Power 4 conference, and they've struggled in the Power 4. They dominated the AAC, sorry.
Yep.
Or the American. I think they just changed the name, dropped the ACC part, but then they're just the American now. They dominated the American for a decade. Run roughshod over the American for a decade. and claimed a national title in 2015. And they made that jump to the next level. They wanted that prestige. They wanted to be a program that could legitimately compete for national titles. And you just can't compete. You can get a flat, there's levels to 5-star. A legitimate 5-star in the American might only actually be a 3-star in the SEC, in the Big Ten, in the old Pac-12, in the old Big 12. As those conference type names fall away, and we kind of get into this arms race for positioning for the future of what is the NCAA, and the idea of maybe the SEC breaking away and becoming its own entity and no longer associating with the NCAA. Those kids that were in the the American, who were really good in the American, dominated lesser talent. When they get this chance to step up into the big, it's funny. I actually saw Brady. He was giving an interview the other day, and he was talking about practice squad guys. And these kids would be out there, college guys that maybe got drafted late or didn't get drafted at all. They get brought onto a practice squad or part of that 15-man team, and they're running great routes, and they're just torching guys. That's Darrelle Revis, and he just ran right by him. We're gonna get him over on. We're gonna make plays, and he'd come over there, and he'd get up. Brady would bring him over to the practice with the ones, and the lights were on, the pressure was on, and he just wilted because he didn't want that. He didn't want the pressures of being a primetime NFL player. And the same thing can be said for, I look at so many, how many kids just want to play football? No, I don't. I just want to go to school and play football. I'm going to school and I'm playing football. That's why I went to Florida. That's why I went to USF. Is because I just wanted to play. I wanted to play football while going to school. I don't have dreams or aspirations of playing in the NFL. I like playing football, but I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna be a lawyer. I'm gonna be a businessman. I have these ideas that are gonna translate. I need a degree in my field so that it opens doors into my actual professional career. I'm not playing professional football.
Right.
I just want to play some football. Well, I know, I know you've seen Remember the Titans when Louis Elastic, the big offensive lineman for the team, and he's like, well, if I got to be at school, I as well hit somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you look at those kids, and you look at kids like that, and I think about that. I think about what Brady was saying, about guys not wanting the bright lights, not wanting to, and I look at, thinking about that, think about UCF moving up to the Big 12, and now they struggle in the Big 12, and it's like.
Do you want to take a big fat guess what their record's been since they moved to the Big 12?
I'm going to say 18-31.
Close. 15-22. Their conference record is 7-20.
That's anemic.
And
so, yeah. So
they went seeking those greener pastures because,
Mm-hmm.
Let me look up the other two schools that went with them in Houston and Cincinnati.
Okay.
So here, Houston's record since moving to the Big 12, they are 8-16.
Wow.
They moved over in 2023, so they've only been in. I wonder why they don't have any 2025 stats. Huh? Interesting. Yeah, they're 8-16 with a 5-15 record at the end of the 2024 season. But that's weird because they don't know why they don't have their 2025 record up here. But again, they're 8-16. Again, see, that's what happens. Like you just said, Bud. You said, it's not always greener on the other side. You know what I mean? It's not as easy as a lot of people think it is. You know what I mean? Like, let's see, what's Cincinnati? Cincinnati, they're 15-22 since moving to the Big 12.
15-22.
Their inaugural season in the Big 12, they were 3-9, 1-8 in the conference.
Wow.
Last year they went 7-6 and were 5-4 in the Big 12. That and then it says the 2025 campaign ended with a bowl appearance against Navy in Liberty Bowl. So yeah. So since then it got somewhat back on track last year, but again, those 3 teams alone have moved over to a Power 4 conference, and that's the whole thing is you got to try to get kids that are your 4 or 5-star kids to come to your school. But if you're not winning, you're not going to get kids that are 4 and 5-star to come to your school. Yeah. And again, too, with the pedigree of the teams that are in the Big 12 already that have maybe won a national championship or come close, you can get those kids to come before you get another, a school that doesn't have a national championship. You're more prone to say, hey, so-and-so, you want to play football? Okay, well, we can also get you a good education while you're down here too, but we have a chance to be on national TV in the national championship and get your name out there. And now you get more NIL money because you're being seen more by more national TV people compared to if you're playing in a non-Power 4 where you don't get as much TV time. Or if you're playing in the MAC, which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, usually plays on what? Thursday nights, Wednesday nights. I forget what night they play.
Yeah, I think it's the Thursday.
Yeah. So you're not, unless you're a diehard college football fan, which some of us are, we'll sit and watch the MAC conference. But some of us don't.
MAC conference is Friday
night. Yeah.
Maction. Little Maction for you. Tuesday night.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. So, and I know the NFL has moved some of their games. I think they'll play every day of the week this year. I think the NFL will play this year.
Except for Tuesday.
Except for Tuesday. Okay, except for Tuesday. Okay.
Don't forget Tuesday night games this year.
Because they have a Wednesday night game on a holiday, right? I think is what we talked about a couple weeks ago. The schedule.
Yeah. So the Cougars are 8-10 since moving to the Big 10 or the Big 12.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
8-10. Okay. Oh, now
last year they went 6-3 in conference play.
So wow.
They're the only ones that have made the transition smoothly.
Because I know TCU's in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Iowa State?
Yeah, Iowa State.
It's in the Big 12. Kansas.
Yep.
Kansas State. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Is Oklahoma State in the Big 12?
Yep.
Okay. It's baffling to me that you have with Iowa, you have one team in the Big 10, one team in the Big 12. This is weird how that goes down like that you have.
Iowa was a founding member of the Big 10.
Yeah, so they were one of the they're one of the Bloods. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So the Big 10 was Michigan State, Ohio State, Iowa, Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I'm going to say Indiana. Indiana was one of the original Big 10 teams. Illinois, maybe the Illini, and Illinois, and then Wisconsin. Oh, God, my brain hurts now. Teams.
Boy, it's going to suck if the Knights win the Stanley Cup and Mitch Marner leaves the Leafs and wins the Stanley Cup with the Knights.
And the Leafs didn't even make the playoffs.
Playoffs, yeah.
Exactly.
And I forget who the other, Purdue and Northwestern were the original 10 Big 10 teams.
That makes sense because since then, who has joined the conference since then? USC, UCLA, USC.
It was Penn State, and then Nebraska and Nebraska and Rutgers, and then USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington.
because Oregon State and Washington State are still teams in the now is going to be the Pac-12 again, right?
Yeah,
I think
the reformed Pac-12.
Reformed Pac-12,
the new
which I think
Pac-12 2.0.
Boise State, I think, is also going to be one of the
Boise
Pac-12
State is going to be joining them. Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento State.
Fresno, I think.
Right.
I think it's Fresno State. Texas State.
I'm wondering. I mean, maybe I've read this. I want to know if the Pac-12 2.0.
Yeah.
I wonder if they must be paying for some of these exit fees for some of these kids, some of these programs out of their former conferences. I'm assuming, right?
The schools have to pay it.
Yeah,
and if they're still under contract, to break the contract, you have to pay your exit fee. That was I forget which schools it were. That was a hang up for forget which school it was. And I think it was one of the Sun Belt. I think it's one of the new Sun Belt teams. They're trying to leave their current conference and go to the Sun Belt. I think is it Conference USA? Yeah, I can't remember. It's a team from the Sun Belt going to the CUSA or a team from the CUSA going to the Sun Belt. But one of those teams is trying to leave their current conference to go to a new conference, and to go to the new conference, they're supposed to pay an exit fee of like $1.3 million or something like that, and the school doesn't want to pay.
Okay. Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's the whole thing too. If you take a team away from a certain conference, and let's say they're one of those big schools that's drawing money to that particular conference, yeah, obviously you're going to have some kind of exit fee because they're going to have to bring somebody else in, draw another team from another conference to make up for their losses. So obviously, the only one that didn't do that was the Pac-12 in the beginning. They weren't able to reinstate that conference back after all the teams left, because most of them either went to the Big Ten or where else did they go?
ACC.
ACC. Yeah. Well, and I know we've had this argument a bunch of times on here, and even in, off the air too, with Notre Dame possibly joining a conference. I would think Big Ten Big Ten would make sense because they're in the middle there with Indiana. They're close to Ohio, but then they have rivals in the ACC, and they have that rivalry with USC. So it makes sense to me to put them in the Big Ten since USC is in the Big Ten now.
Either way, really.
So no, then they won't move anywhere until that big TV deal with NBC is over.
Yeah.
It was Louisiana Tech.
Oh, Tech, okay.
And if they okay, so what ended? Okay, so I found this is from Dave Rumsey, April 14th. And a couple updates here. So the messy situation that resulted in Louisiana Tech football team being scheduled to play 20 games this fall is on the verge of ending with the school paying. So they're leaving the CUSA a record exit fee of $8 million to join the Sun Belt Conference. Will pay CSU higher than $8 million. UTEP is paying to leave and join the Mountain West. Another 2026. Join the Sun Belt. Okay, so yeah, it was Louisiana Tech. They wanted out of CUSA to join the Sun Belt, and the CUSA wanted them to pay their exit fee.
And their exit fee is $8 million.
Yes, and it looks like they paid it. Now they're leaving the Sun Belt and they're leaving Conference USA to join the Sun Belt.
Sun Belt. Yeah, that to me is how many of these schools, will pay that exit fee to leave. But then again, on the flip side of it, I can see how they're looking at it going, well, we can make more money if we leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we go to a bigger conference, we have that chance to leave. Why not? Why not do it? My opinion,
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
if it's gonna cost, if it costs them $8 million to leave, if the return, if going to the Sun Belt is worth anything more than $8 million, or even if it was in, even if the return on investment is anything north of $2 million, after in 3.5 years, it's paid for itself.
I was just gonna say, yeah, if you like you said, just for that, within 3 or 4 years, you'd have paid that exit fee back. You have that money back. Yeah.
Right.
And then let's say they make an extra $1 million a year. In 8 years, it's already paid itself off. It's an investment. It's an investment in the future. If they go to the Sun Belt, obviously, if they go to the Sun Belt and they lose money, then you look like idiots. But if you're generating anything north of $1 million in 8 years or less, you've already paid off. You've already got your money back that you paid for your exit fee.
Correct.
If it's 4 million, if they generate an extra $4 or $5 million a year within 2 years, let's say they leave this summer, they join the Sun Belt in 2026 or 2027, whatever year it might be, and let's say it's 2027. Let's say they don't actually officially exit until next year, and let's say they made $27 million this year. If next year they make $32 million, well, hell, there's your exit fee back in right there.
Yeah.
You've already, and if they make $50 million, if they make $50 million instead of $25 million, well, hell, you've doubled your revenue and more than paid for the exit fee.
Yep. Yeah. See, that's why I think some of these schools, like you said, but will take that. They'll take that risk because they're like, oh, well, we can make more money. And like you just said, if you make double what you made from your old conference, and again, too, I know, with certain, obviously, if you draw revenue to the conference is going to reward you. I mean, obviously, that's the tall tale sign of why you have certain schools that will transfer to certain conferences because, they can make more money.
You work in finance, you work in banking, you understand all of that. It's all about the bottom line at the end of the day. If you're, and I know you're not an investment banker, you're more on the personal side of like an individual banker, but if I come to you and I say, hey Brad, I got this account with Truist Bank, and they're giving me 2.1% a year on $30,000. Can you get me 2.8, 2.9? And you go, well, let me run the numbers. And you go, we can do 2.9. We can do 2.9, yeah. And I go, okay, cool. Now I'm gonna move my money out of Truist Bank. I'm gonna move it into your bank, which I use Truist for a reason because I know they're your biggest rival. So that you might like that. I might appreciate that.
That actually is our rival. That is our rival bank. I would appreciate that.
So I take my money out of a bank. I take my money out of this bank and I give it and I put it in your bank. And now you might have to eat a little bit on the front end. You might have to eat a little bit to get me that 2.9. But now your bank looks better. And this is the thing is your bank looks better because now you have an extra $30,000 in there.
Correct.
And you can go to your bosses and say, hey, I made our bank $30,000. Now our bank has $30,000 extra dollars to give out to somebody. And now you go, okay, cool. Your bank boss to say, great, thanks. That's great. And now the Sun Belt goes, we have this team that's going to bring in this much money for us, and we can take that money and we can reinvest it in other schools and we can take the Louisiana Tech money and we can put it into making the Sun Belt a better conference. You can say, same thing with you. You can say to the bank bosses that you might go to your boss and say, hey, we've got this extra $30,000. Mrs. Smith with this great credit score and assets. She wants a $15,000 loan. Well, now we have this extra $30,000 sitting around. We can give her that $15,000 loan at 8% annually, and now you've created a new revenue stream for the bank. you might have to take a little, you might have to give a little bit to get me that better rate, to give me that higher and that increase on my investment. But then you turn around and invest that, and then Mrs. Smith can turn around and you turn around, you give $15,000 to Mrs. Smith on the understanding that she's going to pay that back at this certain interest rate. And then I know that you're a federally insured bank. So if anything happens where Mrs. Smith doesn't pay back, I'm covered by the government. The government's going to make sure that if I come and I say, hey, Brad, I'm sorry, but I need, I'm up to $32,000. My kid broke his left forceps and I need $28,000 and I need it right now. You can go, okay, well, okay. And then you go, well, we don't have it right now. But then you go, but I don't have to worry about that because you're federally insured. So if anything happens, I know that the federal government is going to guarantee that you have the money so that I can get my money out to make that, to go to the hospital and pay for my kid's forceps or whatever. So, and that's the whole this whole conversation is Louisiana Tech knows that the Sun Belt is a better conference. And maybe, I don't know, just spitballing here, but the Sun Belt, the powers that be at Louisiana Tech took a look at Conference USA versus Sun Belt and decided that the Sun Belt was a better deal. They saw the protections with the Sun Belt, and they think the Sun Belt is going to do a better job to get them where they want to be in the future.
Yes.
No, I would agree. I mean, I've done that with people. The one thing that, again, I'm not a banker, but I've gotten people to sign up for CDs because my bank has the best CD rates currently. So I can get you a better CD rate than one of the, I've gone to the big banks like Chase or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. We beat their rates. And again, the bank that I work for, Bank OZK, we are a community bank. We're not one of the big fish. We're not Bank of America. We're not Chase. We're not Wells Fargo. We're not in that category.
Right.
We're more in the category of the smaller banks, like your Fifth Thirds, banks like that. You're not
Regions.
Yeah, Regions Bank. Truist is our biggest competitor. That is our biggest competitor at Bank OZK. So, and Truist used to be, they were, trying to think of what two banks combined together to make Truist. I forget now which two banks. It was one bank that bought out the other, then they changed the name. I think I don't remember which two combined with which,
National or something like that.
Something along those lines. It was two smaller banks that became Truist, and stuff like that. Yeah. But you're right. That's what you're hoping to do is obviously the big key is winning football games, drawing revenue for your program, and then to move to a bigger conference to get more money and more exposure to your school. That's what USF needs to do. You need to get out of the American to go to the ACC or the Big. I think it's going to be. I've heard the Big Ten. The only thing that I would see with the Big Ten is they're going to get ran over. They're going to get ran over. There's no way they can hang with Michigan or Ohio State or even the Rutgers. Or I'm not trying to pick on Rutgers, but even the teams like the lower end teams in the Big 12, Big 10, USF couldn't beat. So it's going to be
Rutgers sucks.
It's going to be bad for conference record.
I found it. It was BB&T and SunTrust.
BB&T. I knew there was one of the banks that had Sun. I don't remember what it was. Okay. So
yeah, it was going to drive me crazy, so I had to look it up.
Were the two that combined? Yeah.
Yeah, no, and conference. I think conference realignment. I think. Well, I said 10 years ago by 2010 by 2030 everything. Yeah, 2016, 2017, 10 years. Probably every 10 years since 2010. Whenever Nebraska and Rutgers first came to the Big Ten, and it was Mizzou. I forget who else it was. Mizzou and somebody. Who else was it that came to the SEC? It was Mizzou. And I forget.
Missouri, and who else was the one that came in with Missouri? Oh man, I know somebody else came in with Missouri because it was Oklahoma, Texas is the most recent two.
Yeah.
But somebody came in with Missouri, Texas A&M.
Yep.
A&M.
We came up. We got there at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. When
Right.
Nebraska and Rutgers and Mizzou into A&M, joined the Big Ten and SEC respectively. Me and my dad, talked about the idea of just super conferences, 2 super conferences. Everybody being as absorbed in the SEC and Big Ten and just blowing the whole thing up, blowing up the conferences as they were, and just absorbing everybody into the, from just cut a line clear across the middle through just below Columbus, across in the top half is the Big Ten and the bottom half is the SEC. Yes, I wanted to keep Ohio State in the Big Ten.
Yes.
He
right.
wants the Buckeyes to be in the SEC.
No, because I couldn't let them leave. Fight them on that. You bastards,
No.
you play us every year, you mother. So,
Yeah,
so that was 20 years ago now, and I said even 20 years ago, I said by 2030, it was all going to be gone. It was going to blow up, and everything was going to blow up, and there were going to be 2 super conferences, and now it's trending even further that way, where it's all going to blow up, and everything, and you're going to cut the country in half, and you're going to have 2 super conferences. You're going to have what's 130 divided by 2? 65.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you'll have 2 65-team super conferences, and I just want to keep Michigan State and Ohio State, and I'll play 9 other games. You give me Michigan State and Ohio State, and we can rotate the other 9 games. I'd be happy to rotate the other 9 games. Play 2 warm-up games, games 1 and 2. And this is how if I was God Emperor for a day and I got to set the college football schedule, every team gets 2 warm-up games. Every power team in the current power team, you get 2 warm-up games, 2 preseason-ish games, if you will. Then you get 1 hard game, get one hard non-conference game. So so in even years,
yeah.
If you're an even year team, you get the home game, and then if you're an odd year team, so this is 26, so it'd be an even year. So if you're in each top, it's top and bottom. So one is even, one is odd. And in even years, you get the home game. In the odd years, you get the away game. So even years, the even teams get the home game, and the odd teams get the road game. And then and then it switches. And so in 27, the odd years would get the home game, and the evens would have to go on the road in games 3 and 4. And then it would be, so you could schedule Michigan and Notre Dame, Michigan and Arkansas, Michigan and LSU, Michigan and Miami, Michigan and North Carolina. Michigan and Cincinnati could be a fun game.
It could.
And then, Michigan and Syracuse. That's a game that doesn't happen. You could have Michigan and Syracuse, and Michigan and Oklahoma State 1 year. And then and then the next 9 games, the other 7 games are against your traditional opponents. It would be Minnesota, Illinois, Ohio State, Michigan State, Nebraska, Iowa. Did I say Iowa twice? Yeah, we play Iowa twice now. Shit, I don't know. And then and kind of we look at Florida, for Bradley, you guys, you would play an Ohio in that you'd have 2 warm-up games against New Mexico or Nevada, Central Michigan, some opponents like that, those pay to play games. Then you would have your 2 traditional non-conference games against against your Michigans, maybe 1 year you play Michigan and Syracuse, And you know, if it's an even year, this is an even year. So you go to Michigan, you go to Syracuse, and then in 27 it'd be an odd year. You would get those 2 home games.
No, I think that's unfortunately how college football, or shouldn't say college football, college sports in general is going to go. I
Really
think at the
well.
end of the day, the 2 surviving conferences will be the Big Ten and the SEC because those are the 2 big money makers.
And then the rest of your schedule is against your traditional rivals. You don't play anybody that isn't. So you would get your that Florida State game would always be on the schedule at the end of November. That's my only caveat on that is like obviously that because now it's a conference. Now it's a conference game. So your traditional conference, you know, you play your traditional conference rivals. You'd play Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, now and within in my new reworked scheduling, you play Miami every year. You play Florida State every year. You play North Carolina every year. So you play 4 games against your traditional rivals. Or against your rivals. You have the Florida State game, you have the Georgia game, the Tennessee game, and the Alabama game. Those are your 4. You have rivalry weeks.
I would probably say, Bud, more LSU than Alabama, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay. Yeah. So then that's game 5 is LSU. So now we have, and then you have 2 new, and we're calling it new rivals, where these are open weeks and then you have your 2, your 2 open weeks that you don't play anybody, and then we have 2 rotating games of where you play somebody who you don't traditionally play, like Minnesota. You don't traditionally play Minnesota. You're getting Minnesota this year. You don't traditionally play Nebraska. You get Nebraska this year. So it's Minnesota and Nebraska this year, and then next year, you're non-traditional. And every so often down the road, you would switch, and you would. And so if in this year you played Nebraska in Minnesota, you wouldn't see them again for a few years, and the next time, if you went there, the next time you saw them would be home games. You would get them at home. So
no, I mean, I could definitely, like I said, I definitely see that on the horizon. And like you said, I mean, we're sitting in 2026 now. Maybe in 4 years that happens. How crazy that sounds.
Because what it does is you get your 2 warm-up games, you get your 2 hard games, you get your 2 hard non-conference games, then you get all your rivalry games, and it's a murderer's row for everybody. And then you get so that's weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 games. Then you have 3 games, and then you have your Florida State game and your Miami game that you get every year now. And then that open week, you do back-to-backs, and then it's a new. So let's say this year it's Nebraska. So Nebraska this year, Nebraska's coming to Miami, coming to Gainesville. Next year you're going to Nebraska, and then it's a new that open, and this is always an open week where you have to pick a new opponent in a traditional market. So it has to be it can't be a Mercer. It can't be North Dakota. It has to be, it can't be a Liberty or a Memphis. It has to be a traditional team. You already played Liberty and Mercer in weeks 1 and 2. Then you play 3 non-traditional power teams. Your 4 biggest rivals, and then an in-state rival. And with Florida, you have 2 of them, so you get 2 of those games. Texas plays. We can go to Texas, and Texas has to play A&M every year, obviously, and then they would play Oklahoma and Arkansas every year, and then
you said A&M, right? Because they always got to play. I figured A&M, Oklahoma, Arkansas. I'm trying to think of another team that Texas would have to play.
Tech.
Yeah, there you go, Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Opponent, yeah.
Yep. So then that's all of their big rivals. You have your 2 you have your 2 tune-up games, You have two non-traditional. You have your two early non-traditional games against like Michigan, Ohio State. Those type. USC, Washington, Syracuse. Then you have your biggest rival. You have your biggest rival. You play your biggest rival back to back, back to back to back to back. Then you have two non-traditional games against big. You have two more non-traditional games against opponents, and then you have your traditional biggest rivalry game. Your traditional biggest rivalry game always stays on its traditional rivalry weekend. So like, if it's so. That would be my proposal to get so that everybody ends up happy.
Yeah.
Or happier.
No,
happier.
That's the whole thing too. At the end of the day, somebody's not going to be happy with that. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, I would have to say that. Well, yeah, because again, at the end of the day, we all know someone's going to be pissed. Someone's going to cop an attitude, and they're going to do that. So that.
A lot of effects on that one.
At the end of the day, that's exactly what's going to happen. Is they will
because college football is not going back to your traditional conferences ever again.
No.
Yeah, no. I agree.
That ship has sailed. You're not gonna put that genie back in the bottle. Oklahoma and Texas are not going back to the Big 12, and it's just the way it's going to be going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But keeping those rivalry teams, keeping those rivalry games alive on their traditional dates, and building new rivalries on non-traditional dates where you only see, you might see Nebraska once every 10 years as opposed to once in every 50 years.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I agree. I really honestly believe that it should be that way. Because again, you definitely don't want to take away the rival games like the Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Florida, Georgia. You don't want to take those games away, but you also, like you said, you want to introduce new rivalries. So you want to introduce, like you said, maybe you do, maybe Florida, Nebraska, which they played in a national championship together. Nebraska beat us, but maybe that becomes a rivalry because of the history between those two teams in the past. So you draw up again, until just recently, I didn't know that Arkansas had a rivalry with Texas. But back in the day, two teams were rivals, and now that they're both in the SEC together, they'll see each other more often. And I think that should be, like you said, Bud, earlier, that should be one of those games that should be on the schedule every year, no matter what. Like you said, you take 4 rival games that you have every year that are never off. And I'm hoping one of these days that the Florida State game is a conference game. I'm hoping that, there have been rumors here recently that the Florida State and Clemson both went out of the ACC because of the financial situation that the conference promised them. They're not getting that money that they were promised, so they want out, and the SEC would be like, yeah, we'll take both of you. But then if you were to break that up like that, you have to replace those two teams in the ACC. I don't know who you're going to replace them with, because you take out FSU and Clemson. Are those going to be the only 2 teams that leave, or do you take North Carolina? If you take North Carolina, then you take Duke when it comes to, especially in college basketball, you take away North Carolina and put them in the SEC and leave Duke in the ACC. It's no longer that conference rivalry that they've had for years in college basketball. So I think beyond the whole college football realm too, you have to look at college basketball as well too when you do these things, because of that reason too.
Well, if FSU and Clemson leave the ACC for the SEC, then that's it. It's over. It's on. The whole thing implodes. The
No,
whole
yeah,
thing implodes.
That, as they say, could be the domino that starts to fall. That could be the domino effect that starts the whole. All the conference realignment then will begin from that point on to being two power conferences. The Big 12 in the north, the SEC in the south, and that's it. So all the other conferences, the Big 12, the MAC, the Pac-12, the ACC, the rest, the American, all of them will go into two big power conferences. And I wish the schedulers the best of luck trying to figure out how they're going to schedule everybody. You know,
especially with it not being with there being no scheduler. Every team writes their own schedule.
Yeah. There you go.
And that's unlike the NFL with obviously there's a lot less teams in the NFL. But the league writes the schedule. The teams don't write the schedule. The league writes the schedule.
Correct.
With college football and the college sports, the colleges write their own schedules. The colleges agree to play each other on certain dates at certain times. And so, but if Clemson and FSU both pull out of the ACC, that's the camel that breaks the straw. That's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
Because if they go, if the Tar Heels leave, Duke's leaving. If the Tar Heels pull out, Duke's pulling out. And if those if those 4 teams are gone, there's no ACC.
Yeah,
because if those two teams, because Georgia Tech's the next one out.
Yeah, and if you lose Georgia Tech, Duke, North Carolina, Clemson, and Florida State, the conference implodes.
Forget that conference is dead.
The conference implodes because those are your blue bloods in that conference in either basketball or football. That conference implodes, and then you lose a conference, and then it's going to go to the Power 3, with then only the Big 12 being the only non-Big 10 SEC conference left.
Yeah.
So, if
the ACC goes, and it's only you have the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC, the newly reformed Pac-12.
Yes.
They're not gonna. They don't have enough great teams to put up a fight against to punch the Big 10 and SEC's weight class, and the Big 12 is struggling to punch in the SEC and the ACC's weight, or the SEC and Big 10's weight class.
Correct.
And if the ACC is gone, if the ACC falls apart, and if the Big 6 leave, or the Big 5 pull out, everything else is going to follow with them, because I just don't see how the Big 12 and the Pac-12 can compete with the monster that would be the SEC and Big 10.
Yeah, no. Those two conferences alone could no way in hell. No way in hell. So all right, boys, you want to call it a show right there?
Okay.
One last thought, and I'll keep it short, and we can pick it up next week. But because if Clemson and Florida State leave, Duke and North Carolina aren't going to want to be big fish in little ponds.
No, they're not.
True. Nope, that's true. All right, Lou, talk about your show, buddy, before we get off here.
All right, on the Big Fish show on Saturday, Enhanced Sports Show Saturday. We got a plethora of sporting events all throughout the month of June. I mean, we got the NHL and NBA playoffs. I mean, we got also the college baseball and UFL playoffs going on as well. We got golf's fifth major. We call it the Memorial. Major. French Open tennis finals this week as well. The women's final is on Saturday, and the men's final will be on Sunday. So all you tennis lovers out there, be up early for that, I think. Also, we'll take a look at the World Cup soccer schedule for the preliminary first round games, because the first games of the World Cup will be a week from now. I thought it was going to be on Friday, but actually it starts next Thursday. So We'll take a look at that. The U.S. actually will start on Friday the 12th, and the last of the Triple Crown race of the Belmont Stakes will be as well, plus WWE, MLB, UFC, and boxing. Also, your thoughts and comments. This date in sports history, the ridiculous honor of the week. Oh boy, if I got a good one. Sports trivia. This date in sports history, the feel good story of the week, and we'll take a look at our monthly schedule and standings. So remember, it's from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Number is 512-543-4662. Again, 512-543-4662 for the Enhanced Sports Show. Okay.
Cool. So again, guys, it was pretty fun doing the sports trivia thing. I'll have to do one next time where I will take guesses too.
That'll be fun.
I'll have to auto generate one or something like that.
I can always generate one and quiz you guys if we want to do that.
That's cool. Yeah, we could do that in the future. But again, guys, it has been great. Again, these two gentlemen. This is the OG cast of the show. So yeah, so it's good that we had the OGs back. We'll be back again next week, guys, at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on YouTube at the Walker Report YouTube channel, so hop on over there. Give us a like and a follow as well. Want to thank the men and women of our armed services and our first responders. Thank you for doing what you do. We would not be able to do what we do if it wasn't for you guys, so thank you so much. Remember, this is the Walker Report. We are part of NGSC Sports, guys. Remember the website, it's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. I think I'm going to stay with this setup moving forward. The light and the microphone work pretty good. So I think I'm going to stick with this setup from here on out. So again, we'll be back next week. I am the Sportster Bradley Walker. This has been the Walker Report. Until next Thursday, everyone stay safe. Peace.
Send it.
All right. Get out of here.
And I was